to transition from being the diaspora for over 30, maybe about 40 years, and coming back home to Ghana, how I've managed. Loads of people ask me that in Ghana, and certainly a lot more in the UK, US, and everything else, how I've been able to make that jump, simply because of the differences in the culture, in the way we do things, in the services, in the amenities, what we have, what we don't have, what we can tolerate, what we can't tolerate, what we never even think of. I mean, certainly having been in Ghana, I've had to deal with a lot of things that we didn't have, like issues that we didn't have whilst we were growing up in Ghana before I left. Certainly where I live in my area, there's definitely a lot more noise. It's a lot more noisy where I live in Osu, for example. The roads in the streets are a lot more crowded with people, with structures, with shops, with all sorts of things that's right on the streets, making the streets narrower and narrower. And making it really, really very different from what it was when I was there 50 years ago. And one thing I've realized is that if we expect the same kind of things that we had in the West, and we're expecting the same standards in back home after you've come in from the diaspora, that's when you get frustrated very quickly. That's when things get on your nerves. You get angry. You're not really happy, and you're complaining and you're moaning all the time. One of the things, or one of the ways in which I have managed is to lower my expectation just that little bit. Well, it depends on what area, but to lower my expectation so that I should not expect that whatever it is that I got in the West, that I will get the same here in Ghana. One of the biggest shocks when I got here in Ghana was the internet and the phone call system, the way you acquire it onto your phone. Because in the UK where I lived, you just pay your monthly rental for your broadband and your calls, and that's it. You just made your calls, and then at the end of the month, you get charged. But in Ghana, it's not like that. I mean, I was cut off in the middle of an important meeting. I didn't really realize that I had run out of what they call data. That's your internet bundle. So you have to buy your internet separate from your calls. You can buy one or the other. You can buy both at the same time. Now, people have multiple phones here. I know 2 phones, 3 phones with the different networks, because the networks are not as stable as they are in the UK. I mean, MTN, for example, can decide they're doing their maintenance or whatever right in the middle of the day. What stops them maintaining their systems in the middle of the night, like happens in the UK and the US? Why would they want to be maintaining their services during the day? So these are shocking things that we have to get used to. And the way in which you get around these things is to lower expectations, that it will never be like it is in the West. And if you do that, you are more likely to accept the shocks and the differences in the way things are done. So, and the phone system is definitely one of the areas in which you lower expectations. Now, one of my difficult and worst challenges as well is electricity. So I live in a place where has been modernized a bit, so we've had to put in new meters. These new meters, one of them never, ever, ever work. So I buy my credit, my electricity credit, and it doesn't work. It doesn't transfer onto the meter. My lights go off in the middle of the night and I'm stuck. I can't do anything. I have to go back to the electricity company in Osu, and they have to come back and update my meter, and that's been going on for months. I'm waiting for a new meter, something that will never happen really. In the UK, you had a meter and that was it. It worked. You get your bill at the month or you slot in and that was it. But here, they have meters that are not working, and we are all waiting for the meters to replace. It is so annoying. So annoying. But yes, I've got to tolerate that. And I know it's not everybody who can. But hey, I'm determined to stay no matter what. So I'll find ways around, and I'm sure if that's what you want to do as well, you also find ways around the challenges and the things that continue to annoy and get on our nerves and wear away at our resolve and our desire to stay. The other issues would include, for example, being in an Uber and the Uber driver, getting lost because the maps aren't the way they are, that you find them in the West. The maps take you somewhere completely different. I know this can happen in the West as well. People have been lost using the maps, but I think it's a lot worse in Ghana because the system it's not perfect. It's not where it ought to be, and I think we've got to be tolerant with this. Now, other areas that I find very different, and there's so many areas. I'm just thinking of a few. If you're expecting to be able to have your ingredients for your food and stuff like that, like you have it in the West, that too would be a bit difficult. So, for example, one of the things I miss a lot, compared to the UK, is the milk. Having a fresh milk or even a long life milk. So I can get some long life milk in ShopRite, for example, but it's not cheap. But you can get something. Frozen fruits, vegetables, particularly vegetables. What I bought from the shop one time was not at all tender and supple like we get in the West. What I've realized and I've started is the fresh fruits and vegetables, the vegetables in particular. That worried me a bit until I finally got to Ghana. We went into farming, so we've got a farm. But one thing that we can all do, depending on where you live, is have your own little backyard and grow your own tomatoes and peppers and beans and all that, and all the herbs and stuff like that. People are doing it. I've got a few buckets that, I'm going to bring, because I've had it done on the farm. I'm going to bring it to the house to grow, and so be able to pick up my own things. So I'm not depending on the shops all the time for the kind of things you need. Yes, you can go into commercial farming if that's what you want to do, because people in the West are looking for avenues, what they can do when they come back here that would keep them busy, but more importantly, generate an income. And being in farming, or what we will call the agribusiness space, is a really, really good way of whiling away your time by making some good money and impacting your community, because you're going to employ people, you're going to produce food, and that will help towards Ghana being food self-sufficient. So, and just in summary, it's just about being able to stay here, to manage to cope, and to not run back where we've come from. Is to lower your expectations and plan that as part of your preparation as you're coming, that it's never ever going to be the way it is in the West, and that when you come here you'll have to make some changes, just to make it easier. So thank you very much for jumping on board. Now, if you want more stuff on this area, because I'll be producing some more, just don't forget to subscribe and press the notification button as well, because then as I produce my videos, as I share from my experiences, almost 2 years having come back, that you'll get to know and learn and begin to have some understanding of the kind of things that you need to put in place as you prepare to come back. I cannot encourage you enough to come back home, because coming back from the diaspora, we have so much that we can teach. We can impact so many people with even the little skills that we've got. I can't encourage you enough. So why don't you join me in our journey as we come back from diaspora, as we are near retirement, as we get into retirement, as we come back and begin to live our dreams, because that was my number one goal, was to come back and do the kind of things I really love to do. Because life happened. You go to your school, your university, and then you finish, then you're supposed to get married, then you have the children, and so many things come in the way, and then you're thinking, when do I actually ever get time to do me, or to try the kind of things I want to do? And I like to suggest to you that now is a very good time, and coming back home, if it's one of your goals and your aims, now is a very good time to begin to plan it and to work it. So join me now. You can contact me directly, subscribe, share, like, and comment. So I'm encouraged to do some more, because together we can do a lot more. We can encourage ourselves, we can build a community, you can find like-minded people, and we can do a lot more. So until next week, bye-bye for now.